Welcome. We're here at Gartner IT Symposium Expo in Orlando, Florida with Gartner Distinguished VP Analyst, Mary Mesaglio. Thank you for being here, Mary.
Hi, Alexis. Thank you for having me.
We're here in the Gartner Showcase to discuss the topic at the top of everyone's mind, and it was in your keynote, your opening keynote here, Generative AI. So we'll launch right into the discussion. Where, from your in-person conversations here with executives, where are people at with their understanding of generative AI?
That's a big question. I would say basically all executives, public and private sector, are struggling to keep up because it's moving really fast, it's really complex. So we are breaking it down for a lot of executives, and the conversation looks like this. There's two flavors of AI, everyday AI and game-changing AI. And executives need to be aware of both. Everyday AI is focused on productivity, makes what you do already faster and more efficient. And game-changing AI is focused on creativity. So it's about new products, new services, new business models, maybe new industries, and they're totally different flavors with different approaches. So we're breaking it down for executives here to try and make it a little less complex and a little bit easier to know what to do next.
Yeah, and I loved one of your key points in the keynote was that generative AI, it's not just an IT initiative, it is an enterprise initiative. And so I'd love to hear more about how, executives approaches for them to come together and successfully figure out the right AI strategy for their organization.
So I think there's a couple of things. First of all, one thing that people do, all executives, is they look and go, AI is a technology, which of course it is, it's a set of technologies, but it's not just a technology. Or they say, AI is a business trend, and it's of course also a business trend, but it's not just a business trend. It's a fundamental shift in how humans and machines interact, and it affects all executives on the team. So I said there's everyday AI and game-changing AI. Everyday AI is about productivity gains, and every single executive is going to have those productivity gains. So the head of finance is going to have productivity gains from everyday AI. The head of marketing, the head of IT, they're all going to find productivity gains. Game-changing AI is a different thing. And the reason we say it's an enterprise-wide initiative is because the whole executive team has to play. You can't do that on your own. It has to be led by the CEO because it's about disrupting your industry, disrupting your business model. And so every part of the executive team has to have a stake in that. So this one's sort of department specific, and this one is for the whole team to figure out, are we really going to try and disrupt our industry or not? We don't think a lot of people will because it's so risky and time consuming and it takes a lot of money, but you need to have a view on both those things, which is why we think it's not just a technology. It's for the whole enterprise.
And I'd love to, get into some examples of what does it look like for humans to effectively shape and be shaped by AI in this new work environment of human-machine relationship.
Yeah, so one of the things we think people are really missing is that they're approaching AI, especially in a corporate context or in a business context, and they're going, what's the ROI? What can I do with this technology? And that's all fair enough. But really, fundamentally, AI represents, especially generative AI, is a situation where machines have become conversational. So we used to have to learn the machine's language. Now the machine has learned our language. And that fundamentally shifts how humans interact with machines. And one of the things we really want executives to realize is you shouldn't just wander into a relationship with a machine. You should be intentional about what you want that to look like. Because some of the relationships will be okay. They'll make you better, more productive. Some of them won't be okay. I don't think anyone shows up at their dinner table and goes, tonight, I want to not be present. I want to ignore my family. I want to have my head down on my phone, and I want to be a really bad parent or sister or brother or, what. No one goes, I really want that from, right? You just end up there because we haven't thought through how we want the relationship with machines to look like. And I think generative AI is a really big leap in how those relationships are going to shift. So what we really want people to understand is, fundamentally, this is a shift in how humans and machines interact, and the machines are going to shape us and we're going to shape the machines. So just be a little intentional about what you want those relationships with machines to look like.
Yeah, and it's this idea of, it's from tool to teammate. We're working with them now.
Yeah, so that's how we sort of characterize it is machines are going from being our tools to being our teammates. So they're going from what they can do for us, a calculator or a supercomputer or task-based stuff, to what they can be for us. So can they be our coach, our teacher, our therapist, our protector? They can be bad things. They can be a spy. They can be a thief. They can be a liar. And so I think the really big shift is tool to teammate from what they can do for us to what they can be for us.
There's so many rapid advancements. So I'd love to get into, as AI and our relationship with it continues to evolve, what are some frameworks or strategies that executives can rely on to get a firm grasp on navigating the unknowns and the concerns that each advancement brings? Like, how can they start to approach this with a sound mindset?
Yeah, so how can they, some real concrete stuff. So I think the very first thing every executive team should be thinking about is, what is our AI ambition? So you've heard of the Gartner hype cycle, obviously, and generative AI is at the peak of the hype right now. What that means is that lots of people are going to throw lots of money and time at generative AI and just hope that with their Harry Potter magic wand, it's going to create wonderful value for them, right? When you're at the peak of the hype cycle, people don't use the same rigor. They just go, we need AI. We need an AI strategy. Please go off and do it, right? And so the biggest piece of advice I can give is, be clear as an executive team on what your AI ambition is. What do you want to do with this technology? What do you not want to do? Are you going to put it in front of your customers? Are you going to put it in front of your citizens? Or are you not going to do that? And being really clear about what your AI ambition is, so that you can then not fall for the hype. You can say, we're going to use it for this, not that, and be a little bit clear. Don't fall for the hype.
Yeah, to have a clear direction. And again, I think that's where the importance of having all the executives be a part of that. It's not just IT. For the enterprise vision, it requires everyone coming together to craft that and guide it and lead it forward.
Yeah, it's not the AIT AI ambition. It's the enterprise AI ambition, because it's going to affect the whole enterprise, potentially customers, potentially citizens, depending on how you want to use it. Yeah.
And so then, given that you've been to a good amount of these events, I'd love to just know, why is it still valuable for you to be here on site?
A good amount. I am definitely not telling you how many of these events I've been at. I've been doing this a long time. This is my favorite part about working at Gartner. I love the events. I love what we do because, and especially after the pandemic, I think I realize even more now how valuable it is to have conversations with people on site. There's just nothing like the stimulation you get from having real conversations with real people all here together to talk about the same stuff. And it's really concentrated value. So there's really nothing else that I do in the year that gives me that much value, that many conversations over such a short span of time. And so for me, it's probably the most stimulating thing I do all year. So, I mean, I'm biased. I love these events. So I hope I keep coming back.
Yeah, no, there's something valuable too of having, I think taking the filters off a bit, being here face to face rather than over video to talk through some of these challenges and the real frustrations that come with, there's a lot of fears and concerns around AI too still. So I think it's nice to have everyone together here to we're in this together, figuring it out. And have some tangible insights to take back to the team.
That's right. I don't think you can do absolutely everything over a Teams call. So it's nice to have in-person conversations. They lead to better conversations sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially about new stuff that you have to explore, like AI.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Mary, I want to thank you again for your time. This has been a really insightful conversation. It's great to speak with you. I want to encourage anyone watching to join us at an upcoming conference and be a part of the conversation so you can keep learning, have these conversations with your peers, and we'd love to, hear about your insights of what generative AI looks like in your organization. So thank you for watching and have a great day.